So I'd like to just go ahead and get started with this webinar. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and get started with some introductions so you know who we are as presenters, and then we'll do some housekeeping items as well, and then we'll go ahead into the bulk of the presentation. So I'll let my colleague introduce himself first.
So my name is Fulvio Sitto. I'm the Villa Le Balze director, and I'm really glad to be here today to answer your questions if you have any, and to also can give you more insights and more information about Villa Le Balze.
And I'm Sam Yaka. I'm an advisor within the Office of Global Education, and I advise for the Villa Le Balze programs. And then we're also joined by Melissa, who works in our office, and she's our moderator. So some of the housekeeping items are, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the Q&A feature. It should be at the bottom of your screen, and Melissa will be fielding these questions. And then at the very end of the presentation, we'll have time to address them. The second housekeeping item is that this presentation is being recorded, so don't worry about taking thorough notes. You'll have access to view this webinar later, or if you have a friend that wasn't able to attend, you can share it with them at a later date. And that's the same with all of our presentations. So we have a bunch of presentations going on this week. They're all being recorded, and you'll have access to them later on. All right, so ideally we would be presenting to you all in person, and in that presentation I would have loved to ask why Italy for you? Why is Italy a good place for you to study abroad? Instead, we have listed some that we identify as good reasons to study abroad in Italy. And the first is that Italy really has a range from the old in ancient Rome to the new in modern Milan. You're surrounded by history everywhere you go. Italy has some of the most renowned museums where you can see art. There's a variety of architectural styles, from the neoclassical to Roman to Renaissance to modern. And I can't forget to mention the fashion capital of Milan. So you're surrounded by fashion. Italy is also tied as one of the countries with the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So these are sites that the United Nations deems to be educationally and scientifically or culturally important, so they work to preserve them. And one of them is the city center of Florence, and another one is the Medici villas that are in the Tuscan region. Another good reason to study abroad in Italy is that English is commonly spoken in certain cities, and so in Florence, Venice, and Rome, English is very prevalent because they are high tourist areas. But it is always good and courteous to learn some Italian prior to heading over to Italy. Another good point is that there's affordable and accessible public transportation, and I'm sure Fulvio can talk more in detail about this, but depending where you're coming from, Italy does have good accessible transportation that can take you around the country and to other places within Europe. Fulvio, do you want to touch a little bit on transportation at all?
Yes. In terms of public transportation, since the villa is actually located in Fiesole, not in Florence, with the monthly pass, which is usually actually paid by Villa Le Balze, you guys can go to Florence as many times as you want for free, just with that monthly pass, just by walking to the closest bus stop to the villa, which is a 5-minute walk. And in a matter of 10-15 minutes, you can pretty much go anywhere downtown Florence. In terms of transportation that can allow you to travel outside of Florence, be it in Italy or in Europe, there are several low-cost flying companies like Ryanair, etc., that can allow you to travel from Florence and Pisa and Bologna to anywhere in Europe, sometimes for like $10 or something. So it's definitely affordable traveling all around Italy and Europe. Last but not least, in the past 10 years, there's a lot of high-speed trains in Italy that are, again, very, very affordable and allow you to go from Florence to Rome in an hour and a half, from Florence to Bologna in 40 minutes, from Florence to Milan in 2 hours. So again, Florence, from this perspective, is also ideally located in the center, in the heart of Italy, and you can travel anywhere in Italy and in Europe very, very easily and affordably as well.
Yeah. And then the last point for our more data-minded folks, Italy is the second largest host of U.S. study abroad students, and that is followed by the United Kingdom, which is an English-speaking country. So Italy is the #1 non-English-speaking country that hosts U.S. study abroad students. So it's a very popular location. So there are a variety of program types that you could pursue in Italy, and my colleague Sarah yesterday highlighted the first 3 categories. So I'm not going to go into great detail with those types of programs, but I'll briefly highlight them. Direct matriculation programs are programs where you're directly enrolling in a university in Italy. So you're engaging with Italian students, you're taking classes with these students, and you're essentially being a student in that university. Area studies are programs that they're typically taught in English. They're meant for U.S. study abroad students, and they have a specific content area. For example, we have a program that fits this category that's focused on music studies. Language programs are exactly what they sound like. They're language-intensive programs where you're really engaging in the Italian language and really building your language acquisition. And we have a program in Milan that meets this category. And then finally, our global living and learning programs, which is the program that we're going to be talking today. Villa Le Balze is one of these programs, and it's very unique compared to other programs because they're all Georgetown facilities. They're Georgetown faculty instructors, and it's a living learning experience. So that is essentially a cohort of Georgetown students staying at the villa, taking classes together, and engaging in the city as a cohort. And then some are faculty-led programs, which I'll briefly highlight later on. Those also are part of this category as well. And another thing I do want to add too with our global living and learning programs is that they do have comprehensive high support, which is a little bit different from the other categories that I had mentioned.
Well, I guess I should give you, in a nutshell, a little bit of information regarding the history of Villa Le Balze. The villa itself was actually built as a copy of a Renaissance villa in the early 1900s. It was actually a private residence until the late 70s. It was built by a member of the Rockefeller family, and it was donated to Georgetown in 1979. So the first cohort of Georgetown students actually came to Villa Le Balze in 1981, which means that we've been operating for about 4 decades as a living and learning community, which is something rather unique. You might have heard in the introductory video that several students actually mentioned the factor that living together in a place like Villa Le Balze, which is like a little bit like living in a museum, it's a very unique experience. Imagine opening your window and looking at Florence, at one of the most beautiful, most gorgeous places in the world, and it's right there within your grasp. It's Villa Le Balze, again, the fact that you will be living together, studying together, eating together, by the way, which is an important factor since our cooks, if you haven't heard that yet, are quite legendary, I would say. It's a unique experience because it would allow you to develop a very close-knit community, spend more time with your peers, but also with your professors, with staff members, with myself as well. And it's definitely a different kind of experience from all other study abroad programs. So it's again a very, very unique experience. Here you have a few images from the villa and one from Florence. The bridge you have on the top right-hand side is actually Ponte Vecchio, one of the most famous bridges in Florence. All the others are pictures taken from the villa itself. And on the bottom left-hand side, you actually see some students dealing with the food made by our cooks, which again, it's something rather unique. We have a cook just making cakes every day, different ones. So again, if you have questions later, I can tell you all about it. Anyways, maybe we can move to the next one, Sam. Yeah, and very briefly here you have a snapshot of the most the most, I would say, important staff member, myself, Simona, the assistant director, Giuditta, the business manager, and last but certainly not least, Refugio Cruz, our resident assistant, who is going to play a very important part in your stay in Florence, because we are a living learning community. Again, you'll be living, eating, studying at the villa, but you are going to have someone like Refugio, Ref for short, spending the night there every night pretty much. So he is the first point of contact in case you have an issue, in case you have questions. He's a very seasoned traveler, so he can help you. He can help you, book a ticket for a flight, for a train, whatever. Give you advices and all that. And again, besides Ref, no one lives on the property, but we do have schedules that overlap in a way that there's always someone on the premises. So again, it's not like your usual university dorm experience. You're going to be living, if you go to Villa Le Balze, in what I called before a museum. You'll be sleeping in rooms with frescoes on the ceilings and on the walls, and you will be breathing, history and living a very unique semester or summer if you decide to participate in one of the faculty-led summer programs.
All right, so this concept of a living learning community is something that Fulvio and I have mentioned several times. So for those of you that may not be as familiar with what an LLC is, I have up here 3 main goals that come from an LLC experience. And I actually took this from the Residential Living website. Residential Living is the office that oversees housing at Georgetown main campus. And for those of you that may not know this, Georgetown has a huge handful of living learning communities that students can participate in. So you may have lived in one last year or in the previous years, and the Villa follows these goals as well. So the Villa is meant to help you find your sense of belonging through intentional dialogue. So you're engaging with with your classmates inside and outside of the classroom, and you're having a shared experience. Like Fulvio said, you're having meals together, you're going on excursions together. You really form strong bonds with your classmates and your faculty. The Villa is meant to help you deepen your understanding of the community you're in, discover new passions that you may or may not already have discovered, and make meaning of each community-specific theme. So this theme would be Italian culture, Florence, studying abroad in general. The Villa is really meant to help you develop these areas. And then finally, you are able to have purposeful engagement with your faculty and instructors outside of the classroom. So like I said, you're engaging with them beyond the traditional classroom hours. And the Villa really is meant to help you develop as a student through social, educational, reflective, and cultural engagement.
If I may just piggyback on what Sam was saying, sorry to interrupt you, Sam, but I think one of the key point, the strongest features of the Villa is actually its experiential learning. So consider, guys, that Florence will be your classroom. As one of the students who were interviewed in the introductory video that Sam played for us, one thing is to look at slides on a screen. Another thing is to actually have a professional guide, or in our case, a professor with a PhD walking you through a museum and explain all the details of paintings that, well, you cannot touch them, but you can look at them real close. So that's a very, that's a very unique experience. And again, it's at the core of what Villa Le Balze is all about, experiential learning.
Mm-hmm. And one final characteristic of the LLC is we do have a faculty in residence that rotates each semester. So similar to the living learning communities that are at the Georgetown main campus, we do have one faculty member that we have a new faculty, each member that teaches 1 or 2 courses given their specific area of focus. And it's just another faculty member that you can engage with in your time there. And so that leads us into our curriculum. This is a sample curriculum from this current academic year. So although the courses may change based off the faculty in residence and based off any curriculum changes that will happen each semester, this is roughly what you can expect to encounter when you're at the Villa. All students would take the 1 credit hour City of Florence course, which really is that experiential learning that Fulvio was talking about. And then all students also will take an Italian course. And so this is not a intensive language immersion program, so you don't need to have a very high Italian proficiency. So students from all Italian proficiencies are able to study at the Villa. And then depending on which Italian course you're taking will determine whether you have 3 or 4 electives. As you can see, there are not a ton of electives that are offered, and that's just to really ensure that all of our students are taking similar courses together. And that's also another good reason to talk to your dean and your OGE advisor early so you can plan this into your degree. Anything else you want to add about the curriculum, Fulvio? No?
No, I guess not.
All right, wonderful. And if a semester at the Villa is not exactly what you're looking for, or if it doesn't fit exactly what your needs are, we do offer short-term programs at the Villa. And so these range from 3 to 5 weeks, and they're usually more focused on one specific content area. So you'll see we have a course that's focused on government, one on biology, and these do change from year to year. So you can check our website to see what's offered. And we will be having a summer program session tomorrow. So if a summer program is what interests you, my colleague Greg will be leading that tomorrow afternoon. So general requirements to participate in study abroad. All of our programs require that our students are in good academic and disciplinary standing. So what does that mean? Essentially, that means that you should not have any outstanding sanctions or academic or disciplinary policy violations. Now, if this is something that concerns you, feel free to talk to one of us and we can talk with you about it. Some of our programs do have academic or language prerequisites. The Villa does not have either. Like I said, you don't need to have a high Italian proficiency to study at the Villa, nor are there any courses that you need to have taken ahead of time. All students are required to have a passport because you'll be leaving your home country to study abroad in Italy. And so if you have any questions about obtaining a passport, if you don't have one yet, feel free to reach out to us and we can point you into how to apply for one. And then depending on what your country of residence is, most students do need a visa as well. So for our US students, because the Villa is in Italy and our US students will be there, or all students will be there longer than 90 days, you will need a visa. So that's another document that will help you with.
With the exception of the summer programs, which are only 3 to 5 weeks in length. In those cases, you don't need a visa.
Correct. So I'm more so talking about our semester program. So our semester program, since they're longer than the 90 days, you will need a visa. Then the application requirements, you can find all the information about the different application requirements on our website. We have little tips for each of the documents that you'll need to submit. But 2 main ones that I want to highlight are your statement of academic intent, which is essentially just highlighting why the Villa, why the courses at the Villa, why does it fit with your academic interests. And then your study proposal, which is something that you'll fill out with your dean. You'll indicate the courses that you will be taking at the Villa and that you're interested in taking at the Villa. And you ultimately will need your dean's approval to make sure that it is fitting with your academic plan. And so you can find all these forms in our online application system in My GU Abroad, and you can find more details about them on our website. And generally, junior year is the perfect time to study abroad. Granted, it depends on your academic degree program, but with the Villa, we do also allow sophomores to study. So if you're a sophomore and you're interested, feel free to reach out. Finances, this is also a very popular topic because everyone's concerned about, paying for things. The costs at the Villa are very comparable to Georgetown's main campus. You'll pay the same tuition and room and board. Where the costs are a little bit different would be your airfare and any other personal expenses that you may incur. And we keep all of these expenses listed in our brochure pages, which are on our website in the program search directory. All of your Georgetown financial aid does apply to the semester program. Summer programs work a little bit differently. So if you're interested in a summer program, I recommend you listen to our webinar tomorrow on summer programs. And there are scholarships available as well. The Gilman Scholarship is a very popular scholarship, especially for our Pell Grant recipients. And there are a bunch of external scholarships that we can talk with you about as well. And then finally, our office does offer financial education for study abroad sessions. So later in the semester, my colleagues will offer sessions where essentially they'll be talking with you how to budget while you're abroad. They'll talk about currency conversions and any other financial questions you may have while you're studying abroad in Italy. And so I know I covered a lot of information. And I also know I talk very fast at times, but I'm very excited about the content. And so if you're interested in learning more, here are some strategies and some tips that we recommend so you can learn more information. I mentioned the program brochures before. On our website, you can access all of the brochures that highlight a ton of more extensive information about all of our programs, including the Villa. We also offer study abroad one-on-one sessions, and we have one that's already pre-recorded on YouTube, which talks about study abroad in general. You can meet with either myself or any of my other advising colleagues, which you can make an appointment with us on our website, or you can reach out to me on my email that I have listed there. Speaking with peer advisors or other returnees are always a great way to learn about firsthand experiences. I personally did not study at the Villa, so I don't have that firsthand experience of what it's like to be a student there. So talking to those that have studied at the Villa would be a great resource for you to learn about their firsthand experiences. And then talking to your dean and your faculty, they're very familiar with the Villa, they're familiar with study abroad, they're great resources for you to learn more. And then we have some other resources on our website as well that I recommend that you check out to learn more as you prepare to start your adventure abroad.
Great. So Sam, I have some questions to start you off with.
Okay.
First of all, can you describe more of the excursions that happen? Like, where do they go? What does that mean?
Yeah, Fulvio, do you want to touch
Yes. So there's basically two kinds of excursions. The first kind, we call it site visits, and are usually either in Florence or in areas that are in close proximity to Florence or Fiesole. And those are literally embedded in the syllabus of certain courses. And everything is already paid for. And if you sign up for a class, basically you have to go to those site visits. The excursions are something slightly different. They entail the fact that you leave Florence and you travel either in Tuscany or to Rome. Those are some of the most popular. So we've had in the past trips to Rome, to Siena, to Arezzo, to Gubbio. They change semester by semester, and again they vary depending on who is the faculty in residence that very semester, depending on the courses that are taught that semester, which may slightly vary. But again, those are all paid for. Those are all academic trips, if we call it academic trips or site visits, and they're all paid for and they're all organized. You just have to show up and follow your professors pretty much. So it's fairly easy. Then you gotta also consider that there's lots of free time for your own travels. Classes at the Villa usually last from Monday to Thursday. Once a month, we also require you to take the City of Florence course on Friday morning. So once a month, you have a weekend that may begin on Friday afternoon and end on Sunday evening. But most commonly, that is 3 out of 4 weeks every month. You can actually even leave on Thursday night if you want and come back on Sunday evening. And that means that, again, considering how ideally located Florence is within Italy and Europe, at the very heart of both, you can easily, go to Paris for a weekend or go to Rome if you don't feel like catching a flight, but just want to, hop on a train or whatever. So there's plenty of time also for your own travels. And of course, for those, you're going to have to pay out of your pocket though.
Awesome. We got one asking more about the food situation at the Villa. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yes, absolutely. Let me begin by saying that we do accommodate basically all possible dietary restrictions, food allergies. We just need to know in advance so that we can prepare for it. But if you're allergic to, nuts, shrimps, or gluten, you need to eat gluten-free, whatever your needs might be. If you're a vegetarian, you just have to let us know before you arrive so that we can plan accordingly. But again, our cooks have plenty of experience accommodating those needs. And I guess this was the direction that this question wanted me to go, or maybe you want me to go over what would be the menu at the Villa. I don't know. I can also briefly state that, we have 3 meals. The breakfast is what we would call, I guess, continental breakfast. So it's more Italian style. There's milk and cereals, but the main meal of the day is lunch. Meals usually last 1 hour. So there's plenty of time to enjoy appetizers, pasta. Every day we have pasta, meat or fish or vegetables if you're a vegetarian, and rigorously espresso, so coffee, and dessert. Dinner is a little bit more low key, just because again, we want you to live the Italian experience. So in Italy, the main meal is lunch, not dinner. But at dinner, you will still have plenty of options. So pasta, meat, vegetables, whatever you need, really. And the menu changes every day. And we can also we cannot take special requests, but if a group of students say that they like more chicken, or they like more sausages, or they like more tiramisu, we cannot accommodate all those requests on a day notice, but we'll certainly do our best to make sure that group of students enjoys what they really want, enjoys what they want to have, pretty much.
And then Fulvio, could you touch on the community style that is the...
Yes. A really important part actually of the living and learning community is also the scholarly duty. All students actually engage in the so-called scholarly duty, which consists of helping setting the table and clean up the table afterwards, just putting dishes in the dishwasher and all. Something very easy. Everybody does it. And the main reason for it is because we want to strengthen this sense of community. And believe me, I meet routinely with alumni who come to the villa, and they still remember fondly the scholarly duty, the food they had at the villa, the time they had at the villa, pretty much. So even scholarly duty, which could seem like a pain in the neck at first, it actually isn't, because it ends up being fun. You just have to show up 10 minutes before lunch or dinner. Our resident assistant will organize turns, so you know that your turn is going to be Monday at lunch, or Thursday at dinner, or whatever, and you do your simple, very, very, very simple work. It's going to be 5-10 minutes before and 5-10 minutes afterwards, but it's all done, smiling, laughing, and having fun, maybe with the radio on and dancing. So students even do that. So it's not a job, really. It's more like having fun. That's all.
And then the faculty and staff sometimes join for the meals too, correct?
Bravo, yes, absolutely. So unfortunately, guys, I'm going to be there every day for lunch. And it's not for dessert. Well, it is also for dessert, but it's also because I want to get to know you better and spend time with you. And every day we're going to have 1 or 2 faculty joining us as well. At dinner, basically there will be no faculty. I won't be joining. It's only ref. So dinner is more like your own thing. The villa is going to think of the villa as your own apartment, your own house. So, ref is in a way your older brother. And so lunch is a little bit more formal. We have several guests. Maybe I will even go as far as to say that every day we have a guest who might be ranging from the American consul to the mayor of Florence to just maybe a colleague who teaches at another American institution nearby. At dinner, that doesn't happen. At dinner, it's just you guys with ref hanging out, and sometimes dinner doesn't last 1 hour, it lasts 2 or 3. Then of course it depends on the plans you have for the evening, but it's a very relaxed time of the day, pretty much.
Excellent. And just one last question. It's about language learning, and so they have the class, obviously. Are there other opportunities to kind of get involved in speaking Italian with native Italian speakers or anything like that?
Yes. So I can take over on this one as well, Sam, if you don't mind. So let me clarify and let me reiterate something Sam said before. English is the official language. So you don't need to know any word of Italian in order to enroll and to come to Villa Le Balze. Even though you'll notice pretty soon that you already know many words of Italian, ranging from tiramisu to bravo to paparazzi, you name it. There's so many that are already part of the English language, you don't even realize that till you come to Italy. So all this to say that all the important information will be given to you in English. So there's no way you can miss a thing. And then it's pretty much up to you. I mean, there are, as Sam was highlighting before, mandatory Italian courses, which are for your benefit. There's going to be a test before you come to the villa, and so you will be placed in the appropriate language course according to your proficiency, which again could range from 0 to very advanced. And after that, there's plenty of opportunities to engage in conversation, in Italian conversations with myself, with the faculty, with staff members, and also attend all the events that we do organize at the villa, which range from lectures to other students from peer institutions that come and visit the villa that can interact with you guys. And so again, there's plenty of opportunities for you to interact. The thing is, it's a little bit on you. I mean, it depends on how much you want to open up to the external world and quote unquote Italianize yourself. You'll see that it's fairly easy. Italians are very easygoing and open, and so it's going to be super easy for you to make friends. And again, it's up to you if you want to just practice a little bit more Italian or just get by with your English, which in Florence is absolutely possible because there's English-speaking tourists at every corner of the city. So it's basically up to you guys, but there's plenty of opportunities to engage to improve your Italian with conversations and cultural events if you want to.
Awesome, sounds great. That's all the questions that we have. Any last words on the villa before we end the presentation?
My last bit of advice is just plan ahead. If you know you're interested in studying abroad and this is your first semester at Georgetown, start having the conversations now with your family or your guardians, with your dean, with your OGE advisor. Just start thinking now. It can never hurt to plan too far in the future.
Ditto.
Awesome. Go on.
Wonderful.
All right. Fulvio, if you want to say anything, you can continue.
No. I mean, I agree with Sam. Start thinking about it now, also because the villa as a living and learning community has limited spots. I mean, one of the strengths of the villa is that unlike other study abroad programs in Florence, it's not based on numbers. I mean, we don't have hundreds of students unlike other programs. We have cohorts that range around 20 or something. So again, seats are limited. The sooner you make a decision, the better it is, because sometimes there's no seats available. And again, if you want to live at the villa and enjoy all the perks of this unique opportunity, you want to be among those 20.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sounds great. All right. So as Sam mentioned, the recording will be available within a few weeks, we'd say, on our YouTube page. If you have any further questions, you can contact us. Just go to our website and go to the Meet section. You'll see emails and appointment sections. So thank you all for coming, and hope you attend the other presentations.
Yes. Thank you. Well, good luck with the rest of your semester.
Thank you. Bye.